Failure inspires winners, and failure defeats losers. It is the biggest secret of winners. It's a secret that losers do not know. The greatest secret of winners is that failure inspires winning. Thus, they're not afraid of losing. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all good. Hope you had a great weekend. And now we're going to start the day with the Rich Dad, Poor Dad to get you in the mood, to get you thinking about finances and all of those different kinds of things, which should be really good. And we've just started a new chapter. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go. Okay, so we're on page 251. I'm looking forward to a great day. Hope you are too. Let's read, and then we'll discuss, and then I'll leave you to get on with your day to achieve some amazing things. Okay, so I've said that falling off my bike was a part of learning to ride. I remember falling off only made me more determined to learn to ride, not less. I also said that I have never met a golfer who has never lost a ball. For top professional golfers, losing a ball or a tournament provides the inspiration to be better, to practice harder, to study more. That's what makes them better. For winners, losing inspires them. For losers, losing defeats them. I like to quote John D. Rockefeller, who said, "I always try to turn every disaster into an opportunity." And being Japanese American, I can say this. Many people say that Pearl Harbor was an American mistake. I say it was a Japanese mistake. From the movie Tora Tora Tora, a Somba, and I'm just going to let Mladen in. A Somba Japanese admiral says to his cheering subordinates, "I am afraid we have awakened a sleeping giant." Remember Pearl Harbor becoming a rally cry. It turned one of America's greatest losses into the reason to win. This great defeat gave America strength, and America soon emerged as a world power. Failure inspires winners, and failure defeats losers. It is the biggest secret of winners. It's a secret that losers do not know. The greatest secret of winners is that failure inspires winning. Thus, they're not afraid of losing. Repeating Fran Tarkenton's quote, "Winning means being unafraid to lose." People like Fran Tarkenton are not afraid of losing because they know who they are. They hate losing. So they know that losing will only inspire them to become better. There's a big difference between hating losing and being afraid to lose. Most people are so afraid of losing money that they lose. They go broke over a duplex. Financially, they play life too safe and too small. They buy big houses and big cars, but not big investments. The main reason that over 90% of the American public struggles financially is because they play not to lose. They don't play to win. Now, of course, I understand that not everybody is going to be competitive. So I'm very competitive, as most people around me will attest to. But not everybody is competitive. And so if you are not necessarily competitive by nature, there's a couple of things that you can do. One is you can focus a little bit and daydream and think about being more competitive. That can start to create the feelings that you would need to have. But even then, some people are just not competitive. So in that case, you really need to think about your why and what the reason is for you wanting to achieve the goal. So let's say that you want to be financially independent. You want to be able to live life on your terms. You want to be able to do things without somebody giving you the money or telling you what you can do and can't do because you don't have your own financial stability. And that could be at work if you are working for somebody else and somebody else is telling you when you need to be in the office, how you need to dress, what you need to do, etc., etc. Regardless, you need to make sure that you have your why very, very strong. If you know why you want to escape, if you know why, you don't have to necessarily be competitive. You don't have to think about losing or winning. You don't have to be looking to win at all costs, but it gives you the drive to keep taking a step forward. You don't have to do it fast because competitive people are going to want to do it really, really fast. Other people are just going to take it a little bit more easy, but they're still heading towards their goal, just like the competitive person. So if you're not that competitive, it doesn't have to be an issue. Just know what your why is and keep moving forward at a steady pace. And thank you, Mr. Lamarcos, for the hearts. I see lots of them coming up, so I really appreciate that. Okay, they go to their financial planners or accountants or stockbrokers and buy a balanced portfolio. Most have lots of cash in CDs, certificate of deposits. In Australia, we call them term deposits, low yield bonds, mutual funds that can be traded with a mutual fund family, and a few individual stocks. It is a safe and sensible portfolio, but it is not a winning portfolio. It is a portfolio of somebody playing not to lose. Don't get me wrong. It's probably a better portfolio than more than 70% of the population has. And that's frightening. It's a great portfolio for somebody who loves safety. But playing it safe and balanced on your investment portfolio is not the way successful investors play the game. Obviously, if you are starting younger, you can go even more gung-ho on it. As you're getting older, you need to take it a little bit more easy on the full gung-ho, but it's still good to play a little bit bigger. There is in life not really that much that you can lose. There's a famous saying, there's a joke that I used to know, which talked about what happens if a giraffe is scared of heights. You'd end up with a giraffe walking with its head on the ground and its neck bent into an A kind of shape. And there's a famous person who once said, what are you really afraid of? Because if you are walking and standing somewhere, you can't fall and kill yourself. It's not that you're walking from a great height. So literally, there's not that much for humans to be scared of, especially in this day and age with no tigers and lions and all sorts of different kinds of predators that are chasing us. Life is quite easy. So we can focus on something which is a little bit more challenging, because consequences are not really that big in life. The biggest consequence is usually when we have an idea for something that we want to do and we don't do it. And for most things financial, there is a way out if you need to. So Robert Kiyosaki's own personal first real estate deal was terrible, and he had to change the whole deal after he'd already bought it in order to be able to make it work and make it positive when it started out negative. And there is a solution to most things, but very often we'll look at something and say it is impossible to change this from a negative to a positive. But most things can be changed from a negative to a positive. Even if you buy a bad investment or you buy something that is not really that great. That's why it's good to learn to do it with bigger things. Well, start small and grow up. But when you get to slightly bigger things, that's when the reward is going to be bigger as well. So make sure you keep your head, don't lose your emotion, but it is good to gradually go to bigger and bigger. Don't just stay in the same space and stop growing. That is the main thing that Robert Kiyosaki is talking about. Balanced people go nowhere. They stay in one spot. To make progress, you must first go unbalanced. Just look at how you made progress walking. Thomas Edison was not balanced. He was focused. Bill Gates was not balanced. He was focused. Donald Trump is focused. George Soros is focused. George Patton did not take his tanks wide. He focused them and blew through the weak spots in the German line. The French went wide with the Menno line. And you know what happened to them? If you have any desire to be rich, you must focus. Do not do what poor and middle class people do. Put their few eggs in many baskets. Put a lot of your eggs in a few baskets and focus. Follow one course until successful. And this is something that you can see in real life. I don't have one with me right now, but if you take a spoon and you want to stab a piece of cardboard with it, the spoon has many different, it's like lots of angles. It's not all focused in one spot. The angles are everywhere. There's points everywhere. And so because it has no focus, it will not get through the cardboard. If you take a knife, it's sharp. It has one point at the end. If you take a really sharp pointed knife and you stab at a piece of cardboard, it will go straight through because it has focused energy all in that one point. Whereas the spoon has displaced energy, which is all over the place. And so there's no way for it to get through because the energy is going in different places. The knife, it knows where it's going through and it will go straight through. If you hate losing, play it safe. If losing makes you weak, play it safe. Go with balanced investments. If you're over 25 years old and are terrified of taking risks, don't change. Play it safe, but start early. Start accumulating your nest egg early because it will take time. And very often, I always find that the people who are going to be a little bit more risk takers, they are going to generally fail a couple of times to start off with. And then when they're a little bit older, when most people get very, very safe and secure, they will start to achieve their success. Whereas the people who are a little bit more afraid, they really need to start early. So the successful people generally also, they'll start early, but because they're slightly more risk takers, they will start early. They'll fail a couple of times, but because they've played big, because they've taken slightly bigger risks, they are going to eventually figure it out and succeed. Whereas the person who is playing it safe, if they start with safe investments, but they start late, then they start at the same time that the big risk taker is going to start getting success, and they don't have enough time to build up sufficient wealth in that short amount of time that they have remaining if they start safe and start late. So it's always good to start early, especially if you like to play it safe. But if you play it a little bit more risky, probably still a good idea to start early. But eventually you're going to figure it out because you are practicing more, you're doing more, and you are implementing very, very quickly. But there is no right approach. So you can play it safe and you can play the longer game, or you can play a little bit more big and risky and do it like the Texans, as Robert Kiyosaki says. And then you're able to fail a few times first before you start figuring it out. And generally then you're going to also win big, as opposed to the person who plays it safe. Even for the long term, it's a slower process. And the person who plays it big generally gets ahead of the person who plays it safe. Okay, start accumulating your nest egg early because it will take time if you want to play it safe. We're going to leave it there for today. I hope you enjoyed and are motivated for the start of the new week with that reading and the commentary and the ideas. And I really appreciate lots of hearts and lots of things happening on BIGO. I will get back to you all in just a second and follow you all. But if you enjoyed that reading, if you'd like to see more of those episodes, you can find them all on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel called The Passive Cash Flow Club, and you can find the other readings and watch them there. We also have, and they should be going out today, 2 new videos and a couple of other things that we're going to spread out a little bit throughout the week. And we're going to be putting a lot of extra content, not just the readings. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you hit subscribe when you are at the Passive Cash Flow Club so that you are notified when all the other exciting and valuable videos are going to be put up. We've got one coming up which talks about whether you should get a credit card or not. So that one is very exciting. Now, if you would like to get in touch with me, if you'd like to do what Rich Dad recommends, or not Rich Dad in this case, usually it's Rich Dad. In this case, Robert Kiyosaki recommends, which is play the game of cash flow, which we discussed in another chapter, then you can come and do that with us, because I run a cash flow club, which is now international, because we have an online version, which is extremely exciting. And we've tweaked it a little bit so that it's actually also going to be a little bit more realistic. So you're going to have more taxes, more realism, lots of really exciting things. We're working on some stock market things to make it even more as well. So if you want to be able to practice and do it in a safe way where you're not going to lose any money and you can play big without losing any money, then cash flow is definitely a great place to be able to do that. Plus, your brain doesn't know the difference between a game and real life. And most people that play cash flow consistently, from what I have experienced from the last 13 years that I have been running the game of cash flow, is that the people who play consistently and come back and yeah, take it seriously, I always find that those people end up tricking their brain into thinking that they are really investors, or that they are getting better at investing. So I would highly recommend, if you'd like to come and join us, please do send me a message on Instagram. You can get in touch through private message and also see what I post on Instagram, obviously, at business_team_6_official. and you'll be able to send me a direct message, and I'll get my VA, my virtual assistant, to send you the details on how you can join us for cash flow, especially that slightly more realistic version, which is going to teach you so much and either help you to get started with investing for real and change your mindset, because it literally does, or you can join us and learn how to take your investing to a new level by being with like-minded people, by finding new ways of doing things, maybe finding new ways of protecting your assets, how to reduce your taxes a little bit, not remove completely, but eliminate, obviously, legally. But these are the kinds of things that you'd be able to do. So I would love to hear from you, not only about the game, but about anything that you'd like to discuss about Rich Dad Poor Dad or investing in general, at business_team_6_official. I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Have an amazing day today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another reading.